Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome. If you're already here with me, welcome to the nightly exchange. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. We'll be apologizing till we get it right. Sorry for the delay today. Um, you welcome to the nightly exchange. Today is Wednesday, guys. Midweek Wednesday. We're here Wednesday, June 11. We're here once more to talk Liberia, the issue of our country, how to make it better and what's going on in it. And we're here to give our suggestions on how things should be or how it should go, and to also educate our people on what should be done for them and what they should expect for their government and how to go about doing things in the country. So we're all here. This is a platform for everyone. Doesn't matter what side of the political table you sit on. You're all welcome. If you anywhere in the comment section or you're watching us and you wish to come on to be a panelist, you want to contribute to and have saying whatever political party or you're independent, whatever it is, you can just let us know in the comment section and we would do our best to get you on here to talk Liberia. Liberia is everyone business. If one person can, the other person can talk, you have a voice as well. We all have voice to say something concerning Liberia, and I think you shouldn't sit back. You should be on here, not just in the comment section. You should be on here too for the Liberian people to hear you, and especially your own opinion on the issue discussed or whatever going on in the country. And so we come here every night to do. Some of us have leave business schedule to come here to do it, and we expect you, and you leave your business schedule too to come and listen to us. So we appreciate that. Yeah, we're all contributing somehow to make Liberia better. Everybody can't sit in the office to work. Some of these things we do kind of help out. Yeah, so we appreciate you coming, and as you come on, share the show, share it to your friends, families, and let's let everybody come on and listen and watch us talk. Or you too. When we put the numbers up, call in and make your point. If you don't want to come on, call in and make your points, and let's discuss the issue. We're here to listen to you. Sometimes it gets heated. Sometimes there's everybody has their own side. I'm not a political a politician, but I support a side, and I'm not a journalist either. So I support a side, and I have my side. I have something to say about my country as well. I'm not just hosting and just being mused and say, oh, because I'm a host, I don't have a side. No, we all do have our sides, and we're we're here to discuss that. Choke on your camera is upside down. You want to fix it if I bring you on? It's something. There you go. So while we're here waiting for the guys, we have Chokon here. Welcome, Chokon. Um, are you driving?
Oh, I'm sitting in my car right now. Hi, Amy. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of late. I was just letting the people know that we're gonna get it together, but we're just starting, so we're coming on late every time. So yes, we're here to a lot of things happening in the country, and you know I was just looking at a few headlines about the performing something that the president wanted the ministers to sign, and I think tomorrow they'll be signing it. And then I was also looking at also in the dynamic in the kids about work permits being sold to foreigners and not giving the jobs to Liberians that they are qualified for. And yeah, a few things in the country. So we will be here talking about that too. And I think we'll add a little thing about it. The Rejateka war still continues. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. So with that being said, Shokon, what's on your mind tonight?
Uh, I would like to start by wishing all of the young people in Liberia that will be writing the national examination sources as they go
Yes.
about writing their national examination. Hopefully, their performance will be excellent this time around, and I'm hoping that we should do a lot more to ensure that we are supporting education in Liberia, especially in the rural part of Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the national stage, there have been a lot of criticism against the CDC and President Weah as a person in relations to his relationship with Madam Nancy Bido.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire controversy is a bit complex to speak to. There are there are some issues that people are raising that I think is actually genuine and genuine, and there are some issues that seems to have some political undertone. I'm not going to be specific to call names, but I am a physician. That is an open secret. There are some of my friends who work in the WIA government.
Mm-hmm.
They serve in key positions, and there are other friends who reach out to me telling me that, oh, Chokon, there were a specific time where I went to see person X, Y, or Z, and they had me waiting for 6 hours. I think that is dehumanizing. You don't want to do that to a friend. Like if Amy is my friend, regardless of which political party I support or which position I'm in right now, Amy cannot have me waiting for more than 6 hours. If
Right.
Amy cannot see me, try to make provision for me to see you the next day, but you cannot have me waiting for 6 hours. I think that is dehumanizing. But to the request of Madam Doe, like I listened to the official spokesperson of the late President Samuel Kanyando, he spoke today. And he said that Madam Nancy Doe received her just benefit from the government. So it is kind of confusing because her daughter, on the other hand, saying that she didn't receive any benefit from the government. But he said that he took the lady at the president's office. The president wasn't disrespectful to the lady. The only thing was that the president didn't honor her request to keep Samuel Doe Jr. in his position. But yeah, I agree that the CDC government laid him off. But he wasn't just allowed to go. After he left the position that he was in earlier, he was then provided a consultancy position at the same institution.
Mm-hmm.
President Weah, as a person, I would have personally been annoyed had he thwarted the law to increase the pension of one person, leaving that of the pension of my grandmother who served as a nurse in Liberia for a protracted period of time the same. That wouldn't have been a fair practice. And I think that is what Madam Nancy Doe was requesting. So if he didn't honor that aspect of her request, I'm not too sure that is a reason why people should be creating a whole national scene. And I'm going to say something that a lot of people wouldn't like to hear. And I came here intentionally to say it. President Samuel Kedo, he did some good work for Liberia, but he wasn't a saint. President Doe came to power by killing other people.
You
President Doe
think,
gave order. I'm
Chocolate,
sorry.
you think everybody the everybody concerned here is about President Doe being a saint? You think that's what it was? You think that's what it is?
No, you know what I'm saying. That is because his doctor, right, Madam Mami Doe,
Mm-hmm.
she's taking the national stage, creating a scene like the Liberian people owe their family a lot. And for me personally, I think their family should be apologizing to Liberia. What her father did in Liberia, that should not have happened. I understand that he was killed by Mr. Prince Johnson or whoever did it, but that guy gave order, and a lot of people, family members, were killed behind the barracks. Do you know how
But
traumatizing
Chocolate,
that is to see your father being killed?
I think we're being. I know, and hey, don't get me the going about what President Doe has done, right? But regardless of all of that, does the Constitution have a clause in it that said that when a president does these things, they shouldn't be paid their benefits, or that their surviving widows and stuff shouldn't be given those benefits because they were not good president and stuff. They did this, they did that. I mean, just is it in our Constitution if we are going
No,
by that?
I think maybe we need a third party to verify whether she received it or not, because the guy who claimed that he was working directly with Madame Doe in Liberia, he said that Madame Doe was always receiving her just benefit, and Mistress Doe, who came from the United Kingdom, says that her mother wasn't receiving the benefit. So it is actually contradicting, and I cannot be the one to verify that. Maybe the government can aid in that process to see how best they can try to
Shouldn't
check.
there be paper trails and stuff to verify that if the step president, because who knows? I don't know why this lady would be lying that her mother did not something, and they were going on radio when she was living, and nobody came out and debunked it. So why the where the step person, I don't know, a spokesperson would come from now and be saying things like that? Why she's dead? It's kind of confusing why her daughter is saying that no, she never received it, and this is not the first time for them saying it. It was said so many times, and no one ever came out from the government to say, "Oh no, they're lying. They are receiving it. These are the evidence and stuff." No one ever did that. All of a sudden, when after she going head a scatter, and then she coming on radio and something like that, all of a sudden everybody coming after her. So don't you think there should be a paper trail to prove that she's lying, that the government were paying her mother?
Amy, you're 100% correct on that one. There should be a paper trail. And because she's the accuser, I think it would be a good idea that she go and evoke the Freedom of Information Act to compel the Ministry of Information to providing that information. Or we independent citizens or those in Liberia can definitely reach out to the Finance Ministry and see how best they can try to trace whatever trail of resources that she's been receiving. I think that is a good thing to do. And that is
No,
going to help to
she is
eliminate
saying
all of the
that
confusion.
her mother never received anything, and then people are saying that her mother did. So they have that burden now to prove that the mother did receive it. She's saying her mother never received it. I mean, I don't have any something. I don't have any paper trail. My mother never received anything like that. You said she did. Okay, prove it. Show me when she something. So I don't think she has to be the one to prove it. The government or whoever is saying that they paid her mother, they won't have the right to be. Have the right to prove that. I don't think it's her.
No, you're right. I think the government should be the custodian of their own documents, so the government should be able to come and provide that information. You're 100% correct.
Yeah. So, Famina, you have anything to add to that?
What's up, Chocon? Happy to see you, man. Been a while. What's
I know you
going
too, my
on?
brother. Yeah, I'm okay.
Hey,
Sorry, how you
Swarry.
doing?
I'm okay, bro. How you guys doing?
Man, welcome to the Nightly Exchange, man. Where issues are scrupulously and meticulously discussed with logic and tolerance.
Okay, we're not doing anything here tonight.
Chocomo, man, I wanted to bring one of your old picture when you were standing with Chairman Pao way back. I saw Choco. I said, "Okay, Choco. I Choco in America adding a B-ball to them on people." What's up? Look, look, Liberia is a very interesting country, and that's the reason why we Liberians we are special people. Until we can realize that we are Liberians and we are not any other national, the better it will be for us. Because many a times I have seen people comparing, Liberia with America, and quick to compare Liberia with America, comparing Liberia with other countries in the region.
Mm-hmm.
Let us focus on Liberia exclusively. The issue that is now trending in our community, most especially the quote unquote benefits of the former first lady
Mm-hmm.
that has been trending in the media. There have been a lot of twists and turns, a lot of revelation, a lot of talks.
Mm-hmm.
But I must say that Mami came out and she spoke her truth. You could feel from her testimony that it was like a heavy burden. She been carrying this for a very long time, and she decided to let it out.
Mm-hmm.
She was professional. At some point, tried to maintain a stand up, And you know, as humans, we will always have that little part in our life where we will have to dip it a little bit and then we'll come back up. So she dropped the ball a little bit and then she pick it back up. But B, as a maid, she was saying her story. She was speaking her truth. And President Weah, the ex-president Weah, did a lot of good things. But while doing some of those good things, he did a lot of bad things. And those bad things is always coming from poor decision making. The ex-president has this where his decision is soccer fee good, yes. But was the decision while being a politician, were they good? No, not at all. And I'm not surprised in the least when the issue about the president coming on media. Thank God he did not speak in any vernacular. He did not speak in French. If the president has spoken in in the Italian language, or he has spoken in French, then some people are gonna say, "Oh yeah, that French, so we can interpret it anyway." But he spoke English. He said, "I was on my way out. I was traveling, and I say, I don't know whether he was referring to us in the bar or like the Yenebo that was sitting down over there. When he said, I say, told me, say no, you need to come and identify with the people." So that in other sense, definitely, say to the many things that so many people have been saying. And people always think that everything President Weah says, it shouldn't be politicized. President Weah has stayed in soccer. Anything he does over there, people who have discussed it, like sport fans, you hear commentators discussing that. But since President Weah left and he came to politics, everything he does now become a public thing, and we'll discuss it politically. Because he is still in our political league. In the political league, he said he's not retiring just now. He's still in the political league. So if the ex-president, who had already been accused of neglect, of reckless reckless treatment of the ex-first lady, even as form of another form of, he mentally tortured her because she broke down. You remember in her testimony, she said she cried. She was mentally traumatized by this man because her expectation was that this is my son. After knowing the historicity of how she was treated, I was not, if somebody had said, "Oh, Manaseli gave her something," I'm gonna say, "Oh, yeah, something." But when they told me that Manaseli did not even honor any of her requests, I did not even argue that. I already know, because Manaseli is bad for marriage. She's satanic. From what I know from Manaseli is not a good person. She's not good. Manaseli treated that woman simply because the woman came out and said her truth about what transpired between she and her ex-husband. And the story went viral on, and Prophet Key and all were making fun of it. He said, "How will you tell somebody to leave the presidency and go back to school? They must leave it with you." And all the both people learning is to make their money, and they may reach to the area where the money, everything, and they say, "Remember, leave the money with you, leave the whole country with you, and go back to school." From her testimony. So Manaseli is not a good person. I'm not surprised. But when she said, "I waited all these years for God to answer my prayer for somebody who I consider as my son to come to power," and I went to him, and he kept me over there from 10 in the morning to all the way 8. All those hours I sat over there. And then when he came finally to meet me, He insulted me, he traumatized me, and in the end, he dismissed me because he became dismissive from the fact that the woman said he take her back to her and you're talking to somebody else.
So, family, everybody here now, trying to, some of the family who are, trying to link what we are trying to call mommy out now as a liar and all of this. So when this lady was on radio, like I was just saying, telling Chokon, saying all of these things, and they knew it was a lie, why didn't any one of them come out and say that what she's saying is a lie? This man did not do this. This man did not do that. This man paid her. Why in her, why she laying down lifeless now? She cannot speak. And her daughter was there, chewing out, experiencing this with her, speaking her, telling her story now. That all of them not want to come out to act like, this lady is lying.
Many of the things that happened to the former first lady, according to Mami's testimony, her family contributed. They were some of her problems.
They were undermining her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saying, I mean, people are always jealous. Mm-hmm. People feel that the late Nessie Doe was unsophisticated. She was not educated.
What do you think her husband's family was undermining her because of the benefit they wanted to give to? Because some African people think that when the man dies, they try to ignore the wife and children. You think that's what's going on here?
Some of them were even happy that even the president, the woman become a widow. Some of them were happy. Not because he sees the woman die today, somebody sitting over there and they're doing all that crocodile thing. Some people there, they are happy. Mm. They are happy because some of them, look, you'll not be good to everybody. You'll not be good to everybody. And sometimes some people will hate you for no reason. Even your own family will hate you for no reason. Mm-hmm. So when she was going through all of this, there were some true friends that were standing with her. But a lot of people were saying, well, in fact, when the woman was labeled as not being a first lady for the 10 years period that her husband ruled, they say, oh, she was only first lady for the time her husband was quote unquote democratically elected. That 5 years. Like 5 years they can recognize. Even the 5 year unto again, she can't even say get a benefit. Look, there are some angry family members. Look, if you're not careful, that's the reason why they say many of our problems will always come from your family. If your husband say the screw will not buy you. Absolutely. So I see all those sycophantic bootleggers, all those fake people. So they want to call out Mami Simba because she said her truth.
You have them, every family, you have some of them. Yeah.
You the girl who suffered with her mom, then you calling her, look, peace be unto her ashes. I just want that old lady to be buried, giving a befitting burial, and let her body rest. And the rest is with God. Mami is a young woman. That's why you see her. She's educated. Good for her. She go back to her life. And her mom fought for it. Her mom did not get it. Because all of us, they say death is inevitable. Everybody will meet it. You can't dodge it. You can't run away from it. Mm-hmm. One day, everything will be laid to rest. Some people who came up that were so powerful, they felt that they were never going to give it. But when the cold hands of death came, it took them away. And today, they have disappeared. You can't hear about them. After the fight, 1 week, 2 weeks, you see people talk about you 1 more, 2 more people forget about you, 3 more forget it. It finished now. I said a memorial will be discussing now. So Mami said her story, and no family member who doing that. I mean, for me, I already know that family, sometimes your family, even your own family, will start doing it. But these are the brutalities that we talk about. So when Mami turn around, Mami look at somebody and say, "A two brute," the house Caesar turn around to Brutus and say, "And you two Brutus," they will be right there, the last people that will start in the back. So the Brutus says they are in every family. Mm-hmm. So thank you. I'm not surprised.
So all right. Same question. This family spokesperson coming out and saying all of these things that Madam Doe were receiving her benefits, that in other words, Madam Doe lied on President Weah because she said it before she died. Her daughter is just echoing it. So what do you make of this, right? She was on radio, upon radio, saying these things. The government never came out to debunk it. None of these so-called family spokespeople came out. Now the lady is dead. Her daughter is, telling her story because everybody upset about the cow. You think this is about the cow eating, the cow rejecting, or I mean, what's going on here? What were these people when this woman herself was telling her story and they knew she was lying? Why didn't any of them come out to call her out on it?
Well, thank you for having me here. Everyone has their own objective
Mhm.
surrounding a particular situation. So maybe his objective is to counter argue or some of the things Mommy said in the name of getting certain flame. Mommy said what she said. For me, I got disagreement with some of the things she said, the way she said it. But
Yeah.
I want to believe that that's human by nature. We sometimes get angry. But no matter how things escalate, there are things that you now want to say on public media,
Yeah, when it
especially
comes to the family matters, right? Yeah.
yeah, a wide range of allegations, which appear to be very scary. But I mean, in the circumstances of these happenings, especially we're talking about the former first lady, people will always you always see people coming to gain certain flame to gain certain flame because when the guy has certain affiliation with political party and not want to understand that we're talking about a death matter, then you see people coming to other the spokesperson for the family for all over. But if the question was if he said the then governor, the past government gave out of the benefit or was paying Madame Doe, then I asked him, why did Madame Doe appear on the OKFM? Then I asked him, why did Madame Doe took the government
Yeah.
to court
Was
as
cool.
far as ECOWAS court for her
Yeah.
benefit? And people need to understand these things. You can't come out to denigrate somebody that I just see the whole conversation about denigrating the woman death and keep putting her children heart in um some of grief,
Do
you
you
know.
think this is what was going on? Like, so my family was just saying undermining her, like in our African settings. You know how certain families, when your husband died, they seem to undermine you, or they want to be the one to collect that benefit. And when you're not giving them the chance, you become a target, you become an enemy, and something, and you and your children turn to outcasts. Is that what you see going on here?
Oh, obviously, it's sometimes the case. I don't have out of the fact. I mean, you want to be careful with some of the things because the circumstances
No,
attached
we
to some
just
of
been giving
these.
out something here. We're not saying that
Yeah,
is the fact, but
yeah.
we're
I
giving
mean,
out.
yeah. I just want to be on the
Brief.
record,
Mhm.
the circumstances attached to some of the explanation. It come with angers. It come with a ton of people not in that right state of mind. So some of these stand to be correct. And some of the information might be out of anger. But how be it? Like you said, normally in our Liberian, in our African setting, people wish hunt or people go after people because of certain disagreement. Somebody has more passive. It is that entitlement. Why will you treat them because they said they're not giving this? They don't want to give you a paved way to get access to their husband. Traditionally, legally, the children and their mothers, they are the owner of those properties. I mean,
Mhm.
there's nothing to disprove here, except in the case, let me get it correct, except in the case maybe when the husband was alive, maybe he turned these properties into his brother name or somebody's sister name. Right
Right.
there, you got legal standing to fight that case and take the property from the wife and the children because your name is on this document
Mhm.
as immediate and or as a deputy principal owner. So I mean, so I don't know why people will fight people for their for what they deserve or what they should get. But it is the politics of the day you see these things happening because, like I said, people have their own objective as to how they want to come to permanent. Somebody want to use this to come to permanent.
Mhm.
You know, I heard that I don't know the family spokesperson or who the uncle speaking. I was like, come on. It is necessary to say some of these things. You say you are the woman, you should do all for her, you are the security for the woman. And I mean, out of a disagreement that the daughter have with how it gave a presenter, and you come in to say these things because you want to get up. I don't know what is the agenda, but I just understood that you want to get a frame or want to appear on the media. No, some of the things that they are doing, it is family matter. They want to take it to the
Mm-hmm.
family and not bring it to the public. But
Right.
again, I will always say this: in a time where people are moving, you don't want to play a certain level of politics. You don't want to be denigrating to them because there is that, like my brother said, death is at everyone's door mouth. It could be you tomorrow. You
Mm-hmm.
you you will never want for anybody to say things that is not truth at all. Especially we said the deaf cannot talk. You know, I mean, that's just my talk on this whole issue. People use situation to guide flame. So they got different objective. What we want to say to the family, keep get out on the media, bury the woman. I mean, what has happened has already happened. It was not come back. It has already passed. And the issue about benefit, let me say it before you go to formula. The issue about benefit or pension, social security benefit, all these things, it is it appearing like people because I heard the daughter talking about is a system problem. And I want to believe this because we're just talking about the former first lady, but there are people who serve in government, ministerial position, immensely contributed to that country. They are not getting what they are to get, especially from the social security benefit. It's appalling.
So
This is
you
just
think what the statement that Ashoko made that he was trying to insinuate that Doe was like this, he wasn't a good man, he killed this, he killed that. You think that should be a reason why this lady shouldn't be talking about her mother's benefit? You think that is
well, I don't know where that all the argument came from. I don't know why people try to say some of these things. Like I said the last time, we're talking about debt and somebody having their pension benefit.
right?
It is by law. It has nothing to do with your feeling. You can't bring your feeling to this discussion because I just see it that somebody just created a feeling, although did not do that. Okay, the person is supporting what did he do to maintain the law? It is by law that the former first lady should get their benefit. That is not we are not creating any story yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for somebody to come and say he was not good, he did not do anything good for that brother. I agree with your argument. But
Yeah.
how do we cooperate? I mean, how do we coordinate? I mean, that argument with his wife being paid, the late Nessie though. I mean, those are trivial way of discussing issue. You know what Joe did. I mean, if the law has to catch him by then, and what happened to him for the constant, punishment that he was brutally killed
Get
away
a
until
ultimate price. Yeah.
he got his prize, and people who actually was behind him by then. Those are not arguments that you should bring out at this period of time. If you bring up, like I said, I think on day before yesterday, that when people come in with some of these arguments, balance the argument a little bit with some facts or some instances that days from our first day. For when I listen to the daughter of Amy telling us that her mother was not even recognized as her father was not even recognized in a kid as president, then I try to say, just try to come to the belief that there is a certain level of hate in our national leader had for one another based on the
Yeah.
past. And people don't want to look at the law. People don't want to respect anything. How will you look at Samuel Kido and say he was not a president because you had certain disagreement with him? But then in the past, that was really boggling.
Yeah.
And I mean, people need to graduate from the way sometimes they attach non-relevant issue to the happenings right now because I see it being very
I
non-relevant
think
to
yeah,
have.
I think this was all from Madame Salif, her on the visit something she had from uh, uh, um President Doe region, and
Exactly.
you know That's what was dragging on and saying that they should, you know, prove his presidency. Oh no, like, what do you mean prove his presidency? Like, who doesn't know that Samuel, you know, Kedo was the president of the United
And
States of
I don't
Liberia?
really know what she meant, but then proof
Yeah,
his presidency. I don't even know where she was reading from. What are some of the advices that are coming?
yeah. So all
There's no I don't want to believe that there's any legal, legal argument or legal proof to show that Doe wasn't president. And I
like,
think
how do you
that
prove
why when she went to the court, she won her case. That's it. Done.
exactly who was the president before the war came and all of that? So you telling the, so like you said, you rightfully put it, like it was just about some vengeance and
Yeah, I mean,
stuff in their heart for each other. Family, you got anything else to add on this before we move on?
I just want to restate my sincere condolences to the family, and let us just allow this lady to rest. And there's still there are few things still lacking in Liberia. The country is not completely reconciled, and you cannot beat on Mami for speaking her truth. And more besides, at the time that her father was president,
Mm.
she was still an innocent child. There are many things that she couldn't remember outside of being the president's daughter.
Right.
So I saw so many terrible stuff on social media, especially from no left wing um, elements posting all kind of thing against her. But again, she said right after her mom is buried and being laid to rest, she's going to deactivate her social media account. So those people who want to be on social media and saying stuff, they can keep saying it. But what is true is that in as much as her father um, left the military rule and went back to a civilian rule, there that shows some level
Can you
of
know what's
elevation.
behind you?
Um,
Is that TV play?
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So just concluding something. Why we move? Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is the president wanting agency to sign a performance contract. So let me see.
So he left from one stage to another. He elevated himself, and there was a huge transformation. There were so many good things and so many bad things he did along the line. But it has already happened. It's in the past now. It's been more than I don't know how many years now. So let us move forward. I mean, let's move forward. The Doe family and other people from the other side, this too shall pass, and it will become history too. Let's move
Mhm.
to the next one.
Yeah, so yeah, like you rightfully put it, some of those family issues need to stay behind the curtains, and it should be dealt with and not come to the public. I think that where I saw mommy, she went a little, she kind of make a little mistake with that. Well, she just supposed to stick with her benefit issue, which is something for the public, and just leave the family thing behind the curtains. Every family has their own little dirty clothes that they wash, and they shouldn't be washing in public. But anyways, I pray that it be able to, straighten it out and get along someday. But yeah, like I was saying, we are moving on to the president's commissioning ministers to sign a performance contract. So let me read this a little bit. Is the head of ministries, agencies, and commissions will tomorrow sign the performance contracts with the president. Monrovia, Liberia, the initiative, which falls under the Performance Management and Compliance System, was launched by the Liberian leader last year, is being spearheaded by the cabinet secretary at the Ministry of State of Presidential Affairs. According to the release, tomorrow event is part of the government's results-driven approach and accountability framework to strengthen service delivery nationwide. The release also highlighted President Walker's dedication to achieve optimum results through the leadership of a cabinet governance structure that reflect the views of all citizens. Heads of states owned enterprises have also been urged to form parts of the event, which is expected to take place at the EJS Ministry Complex. So, guys, performance contracts. Is this really happening, or let's start with you, family. You think this is gonna change what is going on now with ministries and entities, the way they do business and the way they're performing? From I think this is saying that if you're not performing right, which I didn't put the whole thing here in this one, but I don't know. Like you're supposed to something like that there'll be a punishment or something like getting losing your job or something like that. So what are we really going to see, or what are we expected to see in this whole signing of contracts? What do you think? How is it going to improve the government from people or the entity like ministries and stuff? How is it going to improve their performance? And I mean, is this really going to, what's the question I'm trying to ask? Is this really going to push them to do more than what they're doing now going forward?
Absolutely. So this is a very intelligent front, um, and I wish that the president, through all the requisite authority, going to enforce this, because people must give account of what they do.
Right.
You can't go to um or entity after submitting your credential and the president appointed you at a ministry,
Right.
and you spent 12 years over there. You can't tell us exactly what exactly you did. We don't know what progress you've made. When you go for when the president call for cabinet meeting, you depending on the minister proper to go over there and do a copy and paste. You know that many of the ministry gave a report from previous administration.
What?
Yeah. So and many at times many of the report become repetition. They just keep repeating it. So this is a new wake up call. That's also some people who are far sighted and notice that and call the president attention. So this time around, the president being very magnanimous, very far sighted, very intelligent, wisdom built. He said, no, we got to change the course a little bit. Maybe because the formation I gave up for us started again, some of you not understanding the formation. So
You think
let's
he's
quickly
supposed he should have started this earlier on?
look. Amy, you have to give everybody the opportunity to prove their worth,
Mm-hmm.
because government is a conglomeration. It's a mixture of people from different facets, people with different education. You have people who came from diverse background, and all of them coming together to work in the interest of the people. So everybody was trained differently. There are some ministers who went to Chinese school who were taught in Chinese. There were some who went to India. There were some who went to other part of the world. They were taught in different ways. Some people, all of us did the same course, all do the same coursework, but we have different grades and different output, and we all understood from different points. But when we come to government now, it is expected for us to translate these ideas into tangibles. But how will somebody go to work and today you see why the ordinary people and the lazy people always running around say, oh, the bread butter issue, the bread butter issue, because that is the lazy part of the argument. The technical part of the work where you sit in the office, you brainstorm and you craft and plans, and you work on modality to bring change.
Mm-hmm.
But people go over there now, government all about laying dog, and laying back. People wear pointer no shoes, and wear flashy kosu. Now all they do go eat and after they sit down few times in the office, the next thing they go up the hill, they go sit down and drink that 1 or 2 bottles. Now all they do when they get football games, suppose you see somebody leaving government where go watch football game. So how do you expect when in China you find people working 24
24/7.
hours?
In America, you find people working 24/7.
People work 24 hours around the clock. When you see people, look, when we clocking, I see people clocking in.
Mm-hmm.
That alone to tell you that every minute that count in this country is important. But you see somebody go to work, they spend a few hours there, they clock out, they go sit down somewhere. The rest of the hour that is supposed to be using to be doing productive work, they're somewhere else doing something that not even benefiting the country. So I think this is welcoming, and we pray that people who will be charged with the responsibility to make real follow up on these things and make sure people are actually working and doing something in position that they are hired for.
Should there be performance reports for people who are checking up on these? Should everybody be watching everybody back?
Oh yeah, but that's how it's supposed to be. When you watch on me, I watch on you.
Yeah.
If you're not doing something right, you tell my own, I can't also tell your own. But let do it on a constructive front. It should not be on the basis of being negative or undermining. And and the next one now, when you bring that in the workplace, you make the whole work area toxic. You see people fighting among themselves. And, then you start seeing people breathing blood of animosity start growing up among co-workers, and the next thing they revert to fist and blow throwing. That's not what we want. The performance report is something that should be used to elevate people, to push you to a point where you can able to be more productive and be more creative or innovative. In fact, that's the word I want to use, to be more innovative, to bring something to the table that that will transform the life of the ordinary people, or that will change the dynamic of the country. But you see, the government becomes stagnated when people get going to work from, and when depending on us, when one takes pay now, every night the people checking their account to make sure they call in a friend. My man Sonny draft today, Sonny draft, like all the on. But when you ask them what you did in that office, say you go to that office this morning, what you did in that office morning, I get right to tell you that why we have some people who were appointed in research as a deputy minister. He asked them what was the research you did, whatever, for 6 years, they didn't get nothing to show you. In the end, when you're talking and people say, oh, that generational envy your friend for what? We should be constructive to criticize somebody so that they can be pushed and do the best, and the best can come out of them. But when you go talking now and say, oh, you get criticized, but in laboratory, another good country, people get know how to criticize, but when you take them, you put them there to do the work, they know how to do it. Labrador are the country that people talk too much. They can read less, they write less, but they talk too much. When they're talking, talk all day. When you take them now, you go get them work to do, they won't do the work. So that's where we are. I pray that this particular one, it should not just be something that is for mere charade, and it should not be something that you just show out, it just be on the paper, but it should be something that will actually be effectuated. Ministers and whosoever, deputy minister, any position you are hired, any position that you were appointed to work for, that position must produce something, must tell us what exactly you're doing that is different from, because that's why it's called rescue. Do something that will change something, that will uplift something. But you go all that, instead of your ministry going, or your ministry keep descending. You're not contributing nothing to the budget, and the budget that we're supposed to use for the ordinary people who usually will pay you, and you're not doing nothing. So what we're doing there? So the
Yeah.
government will have to, do something that will increase productivity and industrialize the entire ministry. Let people get something to do. Be very innovative.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So sorry. What do you think about this contract?
Well, thank you. I think I want to come from a little bit different point because um I sometimes see some of these things like I don't want to say waste of time, but I want to see it from the more perspective of maybe bringing on things that I think that will not work. Because what
You
am I
don't think this
saying?
is gonna work?
Yeah, what am I saying? This is the president is the president of Liberia. Choose have the pleasures to fire and appoint anybody that is not performing. And that is clearly displayed in our constitution. And we look at our constitution, it talk about performances in government, both from the individual aspect, eroding government structure that will show the well-being of our people. So I don't know why should we have a contract between a ministry that has to do with performances because it is not a law, it is a contract rating basically to have thinking my mind to encourage ministry and ministers to do the necessary thing for our people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you try reading that contract, but I don't know whether there's a part that talk about punishment and
No,
blah blah blah. All this
it doesn't say in the one that I read.
okay, so the president has the power to the point dismiss or I mean get rid of somebody who is not working in line with their agenda. So I don't get it when
So maybe do you don't think this is where he's trying to get to now, like making this contract thing available that when he calls for people to, review the performance, and if you're not performing, they let you go. You don't think this is where he going instead of just taking it for they say she said. You bring your performance report, and you know you already signed a contract, right? If you don't perform, this should happen, and that should happen. I'm pretty sure the clause is there where if it doesn't happen, what it should do and stuff. So if you go after signing that, you go against that. Don't you think that's what the president trying to look at now? You say you signed this and you're not doing it, so to dismiss people. You don't think this is the clever way of doing it?
so I mean it could be a good thing in another sense, but right now and what I'm reading from
Mm-hmm.
and I mean there's no need to get a performance contract if like my brother said he don't want to believe that should be the normal measure. So if the president of the government is so serious about this, I think it should be legislated and put it into law and enter in our constitutions that if a particular ministry or minister is not performing, these are consequences, these are punishment that they should go through before being relieved or relieve or I know paid. I mean, those basic things should be something. But over the past period of time, we have seen government coming with strategies, policies to see how, and not government wrong, it's not wrong to get performance contract in agreement. But I want to, see this from a more broad perspective. What do I mean? Is we should always do things for the future, right? Now when this government and with another policies, because this is what has made Liberia has not made progress. If the UP administrations leave power now, most of the policies they are putting in place to strengthen governance, you could see that most of the even those policies will be in the interest of our country and the next government can proceed on it, they will now operate because it's not by law that you should just come in and operate other people's policies. But if you got certain things by law and you act into law, it is compulsory on the then government that will be coming, government waiting to act on those various law that you ain't out there. So it is a good thing to get contract because transparency and accountability in government is key to national growth and
Mhm.
well-being of our people, right? So it is a good thing to have performance contract report. But how do we sustain it? How the implementing aspect of it going to be like? Because don't get me wrong, we have always talked about the monitoring aspect and other sectors of government. You and myself can agree now that government has put in policies in place in ensuring that rice prices should come down. But when you go on the market there are a lot of things happening because the monetary arm of government is very poor.
Mhm.
How do you monitor people performances, you know, in relation to the government making progress? How do we, sustain the performance contract report that the government want to sign with ministries or entities? How do we sustain it moving forward? Even Mr. Barker, President Barker is not there. So it's a good thing to have these kind of policies, but the sustainability aspect of it too is one thing. A
So
lot of things we have seen.
don't you think when they get started and is making when they're making progress on it, then they can go about doing the making it a law? That you think or don't you think they already have in place how to sustain it and how to monitor it and all of that? You think the president just got up and just said, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and you don't think they already had it well thought out and
So,
planned and everything?
so the reason I speak the way I speak in because there are a lot of good policies we have seen in government. There are a lot of good things we what are parts of this government. There are a lot of good policies that we have seen in government. Now
Mm-hmm.
it comes with a very firm explanation, fun, written all of the good things.
Mm-hmm.
But meaning our problems in Liberia is not just having those law policies or Google idea. Implementation has always been our problem. You know, sometimes it take effect, but at the end of the day or in the middle of
Yes.
it, it is done. It is dead because there is no sometimes I don't want to say sincerity, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no practical. The practicalities of some of these things is not real. That's their way of speaking from. The starting of it could be okay, let's have it as a contract, let's proceed with it. But we have seen that in government. That's why I'm saying we have seen that over and over. How can we transform? Because there should be an alternative to everything we do in government. How can we transform or how can we transition from this? And, part of bringing policies to the government doing it the other way because you can't keep doing one thing over and over. Like Kumi was saying, expect different result, right? So you want to change the formation of how you bring policies into government, and for it to be very effective, even you're not in government. So I think that's my own thought on this whole issue about the performance contract report. And don't get me wrong, it's a good thing, but the sustainability aspect of it, and I believe that most of it thing people always argue that we got laws, we got things, we got things
Yeah.
that make people accountable. But yes, we got laws, but it's always good when you look at the demographic, how the country is, expanding in terms of demographic and the geographic aspect of it. There are more laws that we need to be implemented, and then just to get it, we should implement those laws as well. I think that's
Mm,
my thought on this whole issue.
okay. Family, you have anything to add before we move on?
Well, it's a big step for the government, and we just hope and pray that this should fall on a fertile soil, that it will germinate fruit that all can see, and and move the country forward. That's the most important thing. I continue to say to you, for me, I'm a man of faith, and I'll always say positive things for my country because that's what I want to happen for my country. Excuse me, because the power of life and death lies on the tongue. I will not be among many of those sycophantic and unpatriotic Liberians who will always wish negative things to happen for my country. That is the country of my birth. So anything that is the step in a positive way for Liberia, I will hold it and wholeheartedly support that. So
Yeah, being
this is
negative, formula, being negative is another thing than being skeptical because of past experiences.
oh
Is a
yeah, people can be skeptical. People can. I mean, that's it. I mean, for the part, negativity. The one I'm talking about is people who are very vicious, who are very definitive
yeah.
about
What will
things
happen to
not work.
Liberians?
That's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm not talking about people who can just say it just because they want to score point. But I have some people who just don't want good thing to happen to that country. So these are the reactionary elements that I'm talking about. But
Yes.
we hope that this one is a good one. You sign a contract with the president. You're promising that you're going to work diligently. You're promising that you're going to be very, very, effective and
Mm.
efficient in your post, and you will do everything to protect and defend this country, and you will do everything to discharge the duty for which you were appointed for, and you will produce a result and a policy. That's the thing. Producing policy that will have trickle down effect. That is what we want to see in that country there. You not be learn, might be to learn some maths and we not even know what you're doing there. All we know, you can get wear coat shoe and pointed no shoe, you go over there every day. You go play Zuma game in your office. So let's start playing Zuma now and start focusing. Let's start playing Temple Run and Zuma and start focusing on doing something serious in our country there. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah. So we go back to the Senate. All right, the House. We remember, was it a couple of weeks or a week back, Senator Dillon was arguing about work permit being sold instead of giving jobs to Liberians. It was being sold to foreigners for $1,000, and while Liberians still needing jobs, giving away jobs that qualified Liberians can do and stuff. So I think the Minister of Labor was summoned to the Senate and asking, questioning him on some of the things like, oh, why is this happening, and what kind of jobs is he giving permit for, and all of that. And I think the minister kind of mentioned that he did not have the jobs that he was giving permit for. He did the job description or the name of the jobs and stuff, and he was doing it because the Senate or whatever asked him to create revenue for the government and all of that. And the senator got upset, and Senator Dillon, he got upset and was suggesting that the minister be held in contempt. He said that the job permits were $400 before under Chawan Gonglo, and it was raised to $1,000, and there was a reason why that was done. He argued that that was done to, and every year that it was supposed to add up every year, right? So that was being done to discourage foreigners from, coming to buy work permits, because if you would spend, if you're having to go up to reach to $3,000, what would be the point of doing that? Why can't I just hire Liberians instead of, going and spending that kind of money for to bring people in here? He said that was the sole purpose for doing that, and the selling permits wasn't to raise money for the government. The senator argued that the Ministry of Labor have different ways, in many ways, that they can raise money for the government, not by selling work permits to foreigners for jobs that Liberians are qualified for can do. While there are still people out there, jobless, and you selling work permit to come for people to come and work in those jobs that could have been given to Liberians. So yeah, he was arguing for them to hold the minister in contempt, that he lied, saying that he didn't know what kind of jobs were being given. He lied that he inherited work permits That was one of the things he said. He inherited it, and the senator argued that you inherited. You're the minister. You can, but you also renew it. So it was a very heated argument in the Senate, and as usual, some people will agree and some people will not. So, what do you guys make of this? Do you think Senator Dillon is right about this job permitting not, you know, prioritizing Liberians for jobs than giving work permits to foreigners over Liberians while we still did something? Formula?
Look, I've always supported anything that has to do with the elevation of the Liberian people. So anything that go contrary to Liberian being the master of their own economy, I'm 100% against it. The senator spoke well. I've been a keen admirer of Senator Dillon. People always say that, oh, because he and Senator Dillon has the same soccer team that y'all support. You guys are Arsenal fans. That's the reason why. But I always support Senator Dillon, and many a times he speaks. There are many lawmakers in Liberia that have arguments, that have heads over their shoulders, and there are some of them you don't expect anything from them. But Senator Dillon is not one of them. All right, let's see this video.
For jobs that Liberians are qualified for and reserved for Liberians by law. That is why Tiawa Bondo, who was Minister of Labor, under whose leadership workers making for $400 to $1,000, he made it clear. Because it is clearly known that every law, there's a reason, there's a history, there's a purpose, and there's intent for every law, every regulation. The Decent Work Act, there's a purpose, there's a history, there's an intent for which we reserve certain jobs.
These video always tripping.
I don't know why.
What?
Oh, come on. I don't know. We playing so well when you try to play it on here. Start tripping. Maybe I should play it so they can hear the audio instead.
Yeah.
And something instead of the. Let's take that down and listen to the audio.
Machine operators, drivers, 45 of them Nigerians, 55 non-Nigerians. Those jobs are reserved, technical jobs like that, reserved for Nigerians, unless not qualified Nigerians. The issue here is when I ask the minister, why you pay 45 Nigerians operating the same truck, the same equipment, working on the same work time? Why you paying the Nigerians 600 and you paying the non-Nigerians? But I brought time I need to tell them my calling. Thank you. Why are you paying the Nigerians 600 for operating the technical truck? And you paying the non-Nigerians 3,000 for operating the same technical truck? I thought at the same skill. Why? Why do you even employ more foreign drivers than Nigerians? The argument was they couldn't find qualified Nigerians to operate the kind of equipment. We make sense to me. But if you find some Nigerian qualified, left the non-Nigerian, why are you paying the Nigerian 600 a month and paying the non-Nigerian 3,000? This is not a labor issue. The work permit issue, my brother. And let me defeat the argument that 10,000 work permit
Thank you. So yeah, family. So
Yeah, sorry can go on that because I
this
mean
is
I'm gonna just say he was just directly on point. I
this
mean
is my favorite senator.
Liberia is not the country. I said it for my opening. Liberia all want to compare herself with other people. Everybody want to compare Liberia with other country, but the real Liberian man when he try to do things the Liberian will say what the man trying to prove. Now hey that's so. The senator was exact, and that's the reason why I always say that we need few of Senator DeLong
Right.
with the kind of inclination and his well-informed decision that he made for somebody of his caliber, not too sophisticated as people claim that he did not go to school, did not finish school, but the level of argument that he has, if we get few persons that get that level of argument, good things will happen in the house of error. We're not saying that not they can't get it straight, they can get it straight, but Senator Dillon was on the point. Liberians should be prioritized over other people when it comes to providing jobs that Liberians are qualified to do. It makes sense. If we have people, when we have Liberians that are qualified to do a particular piece of job, what's the point in, and the worst part of it is that these expatriates or these other people who are on a work permit, they are foreigners. They came along with those companies hire. We don't know what other technical assistance they are doing, but the Liberian people or the Liberian workers are seeing them doing the same job that they are doing, but in the end, they are making $3,000
Making more
and they are
money.
making 600, 400, and you see the disparity. So why? Simply because those other people came from a different economy. That country has a different economy than our country, and $3,000 is enough for them to take 1,500 or 2,000 and
Well,
send it to their family
somewhere
and
in
live with
that,
another
you
one.
can also argue that with that it's a little sticky, right? You can also argue that they are paying them pay on a differentiate, like but from family separation pay and all of that could be
They have a lot
included
of things inside. That's what I'm saying.
in that
So
amount.
that's the reason why they have to
So
do it like that, because the people have to cut money, send it back to their family to take care of them abroad. So sometimes it's like that. But if I don't know for what reason, but uh the house like what Senator Dillon said, they have to go back into a revisit those laws and put pressure on the labor ministry so that they can do more to improve our labor law and give Liberians that just benefit so
thank
that
you.
they cannot be robbed or abused by a foreign company or in the name of Liberian people are desperate and greedy for job.
Sorry, from the fire burning senator, right? My own favorite senator, Dillon. Not because he's a saint, not because he knows it all, but whenever he argue, or he puts, he put a fight, he put himself into a fight. He knows what he's talking about. He make the case for the Liberian people. I know other people may say, "Oh, Senator Dillon like this, Senator Dillon like that." No one is saying Senator Dillon's a sin, right? But with all his shortcoming, my opinion, he one of the best we got in there. And seeing him make this argument for the Liberian people, I mean, should the labor minister be the one fighting to have more people in Liberia employed and fighting that they be treated fairly than what the senator is doing now? Or what do you think about his advocacy for that for Liberians being employed over foreigners?
Yeah, it's a good thing to. That's part of their function as lawmaker, you know, to carry on their oversight responsibility for the needful to be to be done in the interest of our people. But how would they work if you have one chairman? Because I heard the chairman counter arguing the senator
Right, he was.
back in the Ministry of Labor, and some of the statement the Ministry of Labor say, see, that's why Liberia will not make
It's
progress
causing
because
problem. Yeah.
you got people who have the responsibility that should be critical, that should be independent, that should do their job void of supporting somebody who they should have oversight responsibility for.
Hmm.
And I listened to Albert Chill talking about some of the reason or one of the reason Liberia has not been given job. It is because poor work quality. Then I asked myself, did he scratch the point about the reason again Liberia has been mistreated in Liberia, where you see people been mistreated because of the their their nationality, especially Liberian.
My
There's
labor
a lot of
practice.
cases. There's a lot of cases that we can talk about here now. But I mean, when you have people who should be responsible for doing certain things, and they are backing that particular ministry for doing the wrongful thing, then you know we're not going nowhere. And like the senator said, I think the senators in there, all of them need to be serious with certain thing. Because the ministers cannot come and misinform the Liberian people about
Right.
work permit, how Liberians are getting job, and at the end of the day, nothing happened. They will just sit down and talk these things. There's no practical action. It brings me back to implementation, practicalities in government. But there are a lot of people who feel that we should write out of the beautiful things, say out of the beautiful thing. But we have to move in.
Yeah.
If you have, and this one minister too, history will tell you that all of his doing has been centered around controversy. That is the man who was appointed at the Ministry of Justice. Certain level of controversy, a lot of corruption cases, allegations.
Oh.
Yeah, that is the same minister, Mr. Cry. And that is the
Oh.
same minister in this position with a lot of allegations against him, talking about people talk about he being very tribalist, bringing his kinsmen into the ministries, doing all those things. You cannot have one minister who will consistently have these problems and not investigating what is the problem.
Absolutely.
For our government to make progress, we should be able to get rid of these kind of people. Investigating about some of these things. Do not sit and always believe that, oh, people have this argument with people, so they want to take social media. No. There's this always saying in Liberia, romance in most cases are facts. But sometimes the way people project it or people put it out there, sometimes you see their anger, sometimes you see their personal, they attack people personality. But some of the things they're saying are truth. So if our government mean well for the people, especially from that angle, I think there's a need. Mr. Crowd should be honest with some of the information he giving. Now,
Mhm.
I listened to him because the senator tried to intervene on some of the critical questions that Senator didn't like. When you went to the ministry to give data about how many work permit, and you try to want to defend that because during your hearing or during one of the hearing or I know a confirmation hearing, he promised the Senate that they're going to gain, they're going to generate more revenue to support.
$8 million.
I think that should be done in a more refined way. But you cannot do it in a fun manner wherein there's no transparency, there's no accountability to how you bring in funding to government. And who's even know those 10,000 or how many thousand work permit you getting? What are the right people getting it at the right place, at the right price? I mean, there's a lot of things going on. One of the things this kind of pressure,
There's no job descriptions and all of that.
how would the minister sit in that kind of a public hearing? Because it was popular, media was carrying it in that kind of public hearing and says they are not responsible as to what type of
Permit.
what is given out there. No, that most of you guys in government just come to want to be the usual recycling politicians. We want to speak to our government, we want to speak to the president. You need to be careful with such individual because at the end of the day, the blame will fall back on you. Nobody will say Mr. Cry was doing it. They will say the government of Joseph Boga did this with people not being respected in the labor as per the labor law. Like the standard stretch a very good point. Where is the Decent Work Act? What does the Decent Work Act talk about? How people should be employed, how people should be given permit. At what
Right.
percent? What Liberians should pay? What foreigners should pay? All these amounts are there, but people will play blind loyalty to these things because they want to seek the interests of themselves. They don't want to look at the all over goal of our people. So at the end of the day, we need to be fair enough to these guys. The senator scratched a very unique point, and I hope they can keep that advocacy. Brother
And
Malcolm,
he
bring
also as like what is something about I said let me start creating 3,000 jobs. Are Liberians really working on the 3,000 jobs that they claim that it's something or these the ministry is giving out these permits to foreigners. So if we say we're creating these jobs, we're not saying our people are still unemployed. But the records are saying that this person created this amount of job. But the citizens are still unemployed. A lot of them in those areas. So this is there was that was one of the point that he something too.
yeah,
So yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
and that's bringing me to balance of prioritizing Liberian on the diesel. What I talk about priority given to Liberian, and basically you look at positions of where Liberians should be in. If like the senator was scratching a point, or somebody scratched a point in formula, talk about why is it a foreign driver should be paid 2,000 and Liberian be paid 1,500. And sometimes they frustrate the part, but the money is not even coming on time. People are being abused before those money are being given to them. And at the end of the day, when there are complaints upon complaints in from the labor ministry that has to do with bad practices of maltreating workers, has not come to any conclusion. Because at the end of the day, you know what happened? One inspector will go there and go hold it and sit down. So how
Hmm.
do we make progress with Liberia?
Yeah, it's
People are
sad.
not being given any fair hearing. People are not being getting any fair treatment as to how they bring complaint. Then at the end of the day, somebody will say, uh, 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 we working. You working? What are you doing? We're not saying anything for the people you working.
Thank you, family. I mean, sorry, family. Do you think you agree with the senator that the minister should be held in contempt for lying? That he inherited this and not knowing it that he giving these permits out on these jobs, but he didn't want to, provide the kind of job description that he was giving out, permit he was giving out, like to the to foreigners.
I don't know whether that hell in content gonna go. I don't
Do
know
you
how
think
far it
you
can.
agree with him though?
I agree that it be hell in content if you lie on an oath. But what I see again is that this should be a wake up call for all lawmakers who has been neck on a responsibility to to push the executive
Feet to the
to
fire.
yeah, to push the executive feet to the fire to ensure that they do what they promised to do,
Mm-hmm.
especially allotment that was made in things that was allotted in the budget for certain things that oversight response, because that's the thing. Liberia do have laws, but
That's why I said
those
implementation.
laws are not implemented to a full way.
Right.
And because they are not implemented, why it is so why is the executive so uh so lackadaisical, so relaxed, so reluctant to enforce these laws, to implement these laws, is because of a weak legislature that only depend on their pockets, only depend on their benefits, and only depend on their fast salaries. They are not doing their oversight responsibility.
Yeah,
Many of them,
good point, family. Do you think that this point the senator is raising, there should be a fight for every senators over there? You think anybody should be
all of
opposing
them.
him?
You know why most of those senators are like that? You know why most of them will counter argue that? It is because many of those lawmakers allegedly go to some of these companies, go to some of these concession area, go there and get their kickback, go there and get gratuity from them as big boss. And some of them get secret envelope every other time so that they cannot speak high, or when the government come to hit hard on them, they will come in defense. Imagine some of them giving that war. Say when it comes to the Senate, we'll fight it from in there.
Mm-hmm.
So simply because they have been receiving something behind closed door, and that's the reason why the ordinary people continue to suffer. The labor ministry will not do anything tangible, because sometimes even though very inspector, those Liberian will call, they'll be insider that will say, oh, the people not doing the right thing. When you're coming, they will pretend.
Mm-hmm.
But those inspector, when they come there, once those guys are calling in the office, say, bring that man to my office. Once those inspector go to that office, the man offer in our cold surgery, in our cold solo juice, or they get in our what are PO heavy, some kind of juice they can get in. Once they get in that one can, and once they drink that one bottle, get forget it.
Is it?
As soon as the bread get know that one you finish, they come in outside, they say we'll see you to finish you're on your own. So I mean that's the thing. That's the thing. If everywhere, look, there are a lot of areas over there who have the responsibility, social corporate responsibility to do good things for districts or for community or for county that they found themselves in. They have so much more. They have those agreements are on the book, but they are not implemented because they have weak enforcement power. The enforcement power is weak, and the oversight responsibility for the legislature is the worst you can ever think about.
Thank you. So sorry. Do you think the Senate should have some system that with argument like this, in case they vote on it, people that are against that, do you think they should put that in the newspaper or have them everywhere that the citizens will see who are those in there that are fighting for them and the ones that are against them? Because that's what I see this to be, right? If we're talking about jobs creation, and then what the senator is rightfully laying out, and then you have a senator in there from, let's say, River G, or from Bourne County, or from a Grand Bassa, or from my own Margie B. No. And then they're saying no to this, opposing to what the senator is. Do you think this is where we need to have these people out there for the public to know who are really in there fighting? Because usually, like you said, they put all of them in the same basket, and I think it's about time we stop doing that. Don't you think that we need to call out those who are there fighting? Maybe it will give the other people more. It will push them, right? So, I mean, do you think this is the kind of fight that we should be exposing them on, those that relent and don't want to pick up the fight with Senator Delon?
Yeah, necessary. Most definitely. I mean, the strategy, or there are many ways you get courage to your leader as to how they make progress in the interest of you. And like you said, it's time to you said put in newspaper. I say it's time to boot it out. And it's time to caution the executive as well, because if you look at the said 3 branches of government, but with coordination between them, and you want to look at because when the Senate get the guts to say we have no vote of confidence in this individual, I see looking at best practice from good moral standpoint, the executive can recall you and take you from that position. I think the executive too need to be more drastic on some of the ministers on the Senate, not in bad faith, but in good faith, because the senators are politicians. They might do things politically that which is maybe not in the interest of the executive or broadly. It's not something we should encourage. But if they do it in good faith, I think the executive need to take action. And like you said, it's a very good thing. Let's bully them out. Let's talk about those that are doing the good. So that can encourage other people, because change in the Senate is a whole lot of process.
Yeah. So like what you said, right? Some of the senators might be doing it based on political party, right? But should job creation people, Liberian people, bettering their lives? Should it be political? Should we play politics with that? Or the senators should play politics with bad deals? You know, like this is not good. Like we will go into in a minute. And I think we can just go into it with it. Like Senator Yan Twain is saying that Asada Mista is not keeping up to their promise. They are not doing everything right that they're supposed to be doing, and they want an extension. Yeah, which our contract ending 30, I think 2030 or something like that. And if they don't start doing all of what they need to do, they are not going to have an extension. Shouldn't that be things that Senator Yan Twain is I mean, he's rolling with the rescue train, right? Sure, in case this government want to renew that contract, he stands in a way because they're not doing the right thing. Don't you think that's a good reason for standing up? You think it has anything to do with shouldn't that be the reason why these people stand up? Should it have anything to do with politics?
You know, there are many reasons people have voted upon. When you look at Nyantua, there's a lot of things happening in his country, which he feel in his mind that is not correct. Like he talk about agreement MOU signed with ArcelorMittal and the county. And ArcelorMittal is not looking at most of these things. So I mean, it's a good thing when people are given responsibility to do things. They should do it void of politics, void of. And the reason you see most of you guys want to be on committee, like I said the last time, it is for their own personal gain. There are a lot of reasons people want to be representatives and senators. A lot of reasons. And that those are some of the reasons that you always see people pushing to be chairman on this committee, vice chairman on the committee. I mean, at the end of the day, they want something for themselves. And I mean, it's about time we bully those that feel that they can be on committee and call ministers or entities, go to entities and do things for themselves and forget about the MOU or legal instrument that they get that should guide those guys in relation to how they operate with our people.
Right.
Like you talk about, I mean, that's the portion of Nimba, the senator stretch. Go to Mount Gibby. You talk about Firestone. People are in deplorable houses over there. There's no good school system. And there are agreements to strengthen, if not annually, but time in time, you have to strengthen. You have to. There are percentages people need to actually be given when they are not even working with Firestone. That's to do with benefit. But they are not getting it because, I mean, our leaders are not, forcing these laws that they should be. So at the end of the day, we just continue being in the same cycle. But I think we have to wake up as a country.
Yeah. So, Formula, do you have anything to add about exposing these senators who are there for themselves or playing politics with the Liberian people's lives?
I just think the senator need to just drop it for once and work along with some of their colleagues and let's get this right. Look, some of those people have milk out of the sweat and suffering of the Liberian people for so long. Yeah. This about time that they take that knee off the neck of the Liberian people and allow them to breathe. Allow them to breathe for once. Because you can't tell me that Liberia is almost as the same size as Colorado. Very small state. And the population of Liberia is about 5 point something million. Not even too much. But we cannot have access to basic things. And we have tons, millions and billions of our resources being shipped out of that country every day.
Every day.
Every year. And the Liberian people are still kept in actual poverty and severe destitution, chronic malnutrition. Why you think too many young people today passing around saying things they're not supposed to say? They are too less basic. Everybody jump into politics because somebody think that they can talk, and then when they talk one or two things incoherently, somebody will call them and get them scratch card, and the next thing you see them again, they back in the. I don't know, but if you have somewhere to get these young people working and get their hand busy, they'll have limited time to be up there and saying things they're not supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
If possible, increase the construction of vocational and technical institution. Look, this is about time now that we have to change the narrative. The reason why most European countries and even America is developing, government is not a higher employer. It's the opposite of Liberia. In Liberia, government is a higher employer.
Right.
But in developed countries, the private sector employ more than government. And more people prefer to work with the private sector because they give you more benefits and incentives than the government. But it's the government that pressure the private sector to do that for you.
Yeah.
And the government set up committees, set up regulatory arm to make sure
Make sure they do those things.
they checkmate those people and make sure they deliver on what they promise. And that's the reason why the country is developing. And everybody gets something to do. But in Liberia, the first thing, there's no trust. You can't trust anybody over there. So that's the reason why you're not even hear about people carrying credit card over there. Imagine, jealous, and worry. Susu, they can go do, and worry. Somebody go to that market. They carry, you'll be happy. Oh, I will pay me. Don't worry, I'll pay tomorrow. You take it. As soon as day reaching to the next day, you hide it from the person. The first day, how you expect a person to continue that seeing and worry?
Yeah.
You have for the person. The next day you have for the third day you take it short, you go low, the person can add your money making plan with the person.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think that person is going to survive or going to sustain that particular thing? So no credit bureau can go to Labrador. So the credit system that people bring in the country that in trap all and make it today we get move on here. As soon as you don't go somewhere, you think about your credit card, you say, my credit card them not easy. So they kept bringing on answer. People that get access to basic student loan. You take loan, you go to school. Why? Because people not even guarantee that they will get job.
Mm-hmm.
Because if people are getting job, you can say, oh yeah, the loan program over there is digital last. You go, you take loan, you go get educated. When you finish, once you start working, you show off work. Once you get employed, you start working. The government start getting up the loan agency or the private loans or whatsoever institution that finance you to go to school start getting that money. But we not reach that level yet because the issue about trust is not easy in our country. You don't trust nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Even your own family will break you down. That's the reason why they family thing they say.
Do you think from you bringing that up? Do you think also that's why Liberia is finding it so hard to with this job creation because of Liberian the trustworthiness in Liberia? You have people here who wants to do things but not ready to move back yet. But yet still, when we send those things for family member or friends to do it, they break us down. They put us
absolutely
in the place
the
that make
the
it
testimonies are so many.
yeah, a lot. I'm who saying here. I'm a testament to that. So and then all
Yeah,
of us,
but
the
it's not from the government. Let me just say this.
government. So the whole job creation thing that we suddenly wish we all know the government is not going to create job. The Liberian people should sometimes be having these shows about educating them too about their responsibility in these issues too, and letting them know that these are some of the reasons why. Because I'm telling you, from there are a lot of people here who want to do stuff like that, but they're not ready to go because of the trust, the lack of trust. They want to be there themselves now to do stuff. And
When you have an establishment in Liberia and you are in the US and you entrust people with it, the first thing people are going to think, oh, you live in the US and you have affluence, you have exposure to so much wealth, you got so much money. So they think you got so much more. And that's the thing, until we can change our mindset, until we can start telling our own people back home the real truth, things will not get better back home because of the narrative, the impression that other people give to other people. Look, there are jobs in the United States. Good. You can get jobs in the United States. Any kind of job, you can get it. Once you qualify, you get a job. That different type of job you can get that can put food on the table for you, that can help you pay your bill, because that's the most important thing.
Mhm.
But do you know what people go through on a daily basis to be able to sustain themselves in the United States? You know that people deprive themselves of basic things. I've seen, even me, I've deprived myself of gas, buying gas to put in my car because of some kind of emergency. Somebody call me.
Mm.
Money I will take to put gas in my car that will take me to work to make the same money as I want to use to do other things. But I took it and sent it out. That's the sacrifice, because every day problem coming or the problem can finish. So when the problem coming up like that, you say, oh, okay, let's find a way internally to solve the problem. Let's get into a venture. Let's establish something
Right.
that at least, and you know, we can have the task. My family working over there, and you know, I trust them, and you know, because in fact, when businesses start like that for you overseas, those businesses become upgrading. It is capital intensive.
Mhm.
The first thing you have to do, you have to start putting in more money. And that's the voodoo economy that happens in Labrador. And anything that happens in Labrador, people think that you need huge sum of money to start a business. That's what Labrador men know. When you say, oh, the Jalo or I'm not trying to be mean or trying to be you know, condescending, but we can always say that they full of mannequin from what, washing shoe and polishing shoe. You go load the man get sharp, right? Because that man is determined. That man, they say, oh, the man can even eat.
He
But
denied himself
you not succeed. You want eat baked chicken?
Mhm.
You not make money. You see somebody. You sell this week. You sell the whole week. All the profit you get, you go water side, you go buy Lekis, you go buy skin tech. What are you talking about? I don't know how people want us to change in our country, and that's the reason why you see the issue that I was saying, the job not coming. Even the government of Liberia, the debt the owe say not even easy. You know that when the finance ministry came up with their funding, they said many of their loans and things were not even paid for under the WIA regime. They're not paying no loans. How you think other people will even feel sorry for all the get loans if we want? Who will carry you money if they go look at your credit back? You get poor on time payment. You're not paying on time.
Absolutely.
So that's the reason. But the government cannot employ everybody. Government can employ everybody, but even the small other places, in I see Labrador man, they go tell them, they get them to the first thing they only men used to employ some guys into the store boarding.
Mhm.
They store boarding will connect with some guys who serving inside there and be stealing things. Somebody will go inside there to go back. Some men will be there serving, but they take some people money, burn it, put it in a backpack. Then they will take the goods and get it, the person carry.
That's horrible.
That's the city. Then they dismiss and say, oh, they may not pay me on time. You already signed up for the message that Santa Fe can get you agree. Why can't you be honest and be taking it? If there's a need based on your commitment, you can go and renegotiate. Say, oh, and based on my time I've been here, I think I deserve better.
Right.
Or if there's authority that responsible to say, oh, the minimum wage for the men supposed to be this amount, you try to aid to the authority, but you won't be there. You say that you're chopping, you'll be stealing. Like bread man.
Thank you, Mama. So, sorry, do you have anything else to add on this before we go? And I don't know about phone line because people don't like to call in these days. So,
Yeah, so I think people need to. There's a lot happening, and
so just put that in your closing, and so we can just wrap it up.
yeah, I mean,
With
there's a lot
the Jan
happening.
Twine issue too, what we talked about him, talking about Asala not keeping up to their promises, and then you have somebody there calling themselves Asala Mr. Advocate, Are we, like what Family just said, with the whole shopping thing? Are we our own self problems as Liberian? Because some people want the system to improve, but then you have other people that are undermining because they are getting their little chopping on the side. And And then in the end, they put everything on the senator and on the government. I'm not saying the senators are saying they've been doing some bad stuff, but some of them there that now wanting to be doing some good things. And then you have the citizen there, somebody there who is teaming up with these people then and trying to undermine them, that oversight and saying stuff like that. I mean, what are we going with this? Let's just go over there and just near with closing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, small country, a lot of things going on. Like you
So many
said,
problems.
um, there's the people who honestly need progress or want progress in our nation. But it's very difficult to get the kind of a change that you're supposed to get in Liberia. Instances that you and myself can attest to. Senator Dillon started most of the advocacies. I mean, it was challenging. At a certain point in time,
Oh yeah.
people backlashing. People said all sort of things because they were now in favor of some of the things he was saying. And he was sincere. He wanted to see
Cutting and chopping line.
governments. Yeah, he wanted to see government in the people. You want to see transformation of government from the life of the people, not just them who are paid with taxpayer money. Change is very difficult, but we have to take it step by step. Like you said, everyone has their part of blame to play. And for me, I'm always clear that if anyone form into any improper way of handling things to denigrate or to bring our country down in whatsoever sector, should get the punishment. What are senators? What are ministers? What are directors? Or even those that are appointed to be half a government in those various entities. Because don't forget to know that if you are in an entity and you need to be more Liberian than seeking your own interests, by looking at maybe your position, because there are people who even in serving positions supposed to be speaking for Liberian, but they are afraid because before they've been fired. So at the end of the day, they will be the same people, Liberian, even speaking for those companies, even they are aware of the bad practices. The King George situations can speak volume to that. When there was a guy who, most of the citizens said he need to get up because he's always in cool with these guys carrying on bad practices. So we are our own problem. And we need to, abroad, like, found that abroad is just a country where government needs to, or government have to employ, not, it is on the contrary with other countries where you see private sectors and, growth is high, right? Yeah, we always talk about government cannot make progress, government cannot employ everybody. But I think there are more things that government need to do to encourage people to come in the private sectors. And in life, like Formula said, example, you see Fuller man meaning himself with certain thing because he want to make progress. And at the end of the day, you see that man out there, you will never believe that the man that was brushing shoe and a certain point in time in T-shop, a certain point in time.
You have to make sacrifices.
I mean, when you want to make progress in life, you have to get focused, man. But I mean, your income generation is at, let's say for example, 2,000 you make in a week. Then you want to go club with 1,005. What is the business you're doing? What is your calculation? I mean, as to how you make progress with that business. So at the end of the day, you say my business goes up, but you're not looking at how you spending the money. So that these simple things, like you said, we need to come on here, educate our people how, everything should not be government sometimes, how they can alleviate their life, out of government, how you can handle your little business. Come on, you can go out there and get, like if, for example, you can go in Waterside and get some business doing, get retail, you buy for wholesale, you come and do retail.
Right.
Calculating, get a focus, man. If you do not have focus, man, even we that happen to be in the country, if you don't have focus, man, to say I'm doing this, you live inside in a common labyrinth, you will not do anything for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you'll leave out nothing. And when you go back home again, people will be backlashing you. Oh, all the time you spend everything. So you should have to focus, man, with all what is coming. You gotta know there's a lot when you hear people expect a lot from you. Call coming, messages and all this stuff, but you have to gotta focus, man. I'm doing this month, I'm keeping this what I mean, that should be an agenda. If you do not have an agenda, you don't. So I think Liberian, we have to do more. We always keep carrying the advocacies on, and as to how we think our country can make progress. Thank you for having Oya. Let's keep sharing the conversation with other people so we can be involved. Like we always say in our conclusion, you can be part of the conversation. If you want to join the the show, I think you comment. Amy can send you the link. Then we have it more interactive. It's a good thing to always be with you guys.
Family.
What a great show, man. What a great show. It's always a pleasure coming on. You know, we never get tired talking about Liberia. It's our hope and pray that Liberia will be once more that place where people admire, people always want to be. And I will always use what the president, His Excellency Joseph Imambuaga said, let us think. You know, Amy, do you remember that I told you that this man Joseph is not just an ordinary man? Name do have effect, right?
Mhm.
When the president said, "Let us think Liberia,"
Mhm.
and then I start to retrospect. What is thinking? Because the Bible says that as a man thinketh, so he is. So even when he said, whatsoever is true, whatsoever is honorable, whatsoever is just, think. You know, thinking is always that thing that we must always do. If you think, anything you think about, critically, you analyze it, it can come to work. So when he said, let us think Liberia, let us love Liberia, man. If you love something, you care for it, you nurture it, you protect it. It is out of love that you see the mommy's giving titties to baby instead of giving it to the daddy.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
love.
you talk about?
Yeah, you be depriving a man the titty and giving it to the baby. And you be telling the man, say, now your time here. I baby
Oh,
time. You see?
that was sound personal.
They did it for you.
Something that you pay for your own money or your own money you pay.
Yeah, right, man, I
I
tell you,
will wear pay my
me or
own money.
something.
I pay my own money for it. Then you deprive me of it, say for the baby.
They did it for you.
So my man, for me, I pay for everything part of it, part of the package. So you love, love,
They
you
got
care for
get
it, you
done.
nurture it, you care. So, and he said, let us build, man, let's build our country, man. It's because those three things they are prophetic. If you think, love, and build, look, Liberia will be your best place. We don't want chaos in our country because some of us, it is now a plan for us to stay here and they show us someday in the nursing home. God forbid.
Mhm.
God forbid.
Yeah,
I want to be right over there in Robert Sport where they'll be bringing a fresh fish from the beach, cooking my pepper soup. And I say that over there, happy eating it, knowing that it is organic, it's not all fishes that are racing in the ponds and things yet, not all farm raised fishes they have here, all kind of things they put inside, giving them all kind of things here. At least I'll be home quietly with my people. I know that I have an establishment over there. I know that nobody bucking me here say, oh, you gotta count your mortgage, yo. And all that thing and be behind you. The stress alone can make you to think straight. And then with all the family problem, but at least when you're more people, when they kind of me eating dry, all of you say that you eat the dry. But when you on the side, they say, oh, you eating chicken, you eating ice cream, you eating everything, which of course, I not even get a time. You spend most of your day outside working. And when you come home, you tire some of the food that are left over. You eating part of food that frozen for weeks, 1 month, eating from that soup. And at least for when they get a chance, every day they go, they cook fresh food, they eat it. But all those sacrifices we are doing is because we want to prepare ourselves to come back home. So while we're coming back home, we should not come back home to a country that is failed, a country that is filthy, a country that will even add onto our problem.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we wish Labrador all the best. Great show. Thank you guys for always coming. And we also say thank you for those of you who always share our program. It really helps us. Please make sure if you are not subscribed to the YouTube, follow us on YouTube and Facebook. We are always here. sharing is caring. Even if we are not live, if you still share the show, it still encourage other people who will see the program and say, oh, maybe I'll make out time, at least I'll pop in, because it really help us. So keep sharing it. You can share it to at least 5 groups, and 5 groups, they have members there that will say, oh, okay, maybe I can keep up to listen to the nightly exchange. This sometimes it's going to get interesting. We're not going to have this conversation only people wait for election time before they have conversation, but this is the time we have the conversation, and leading up to the important event in the country. So this is a rebuilding time. Let us focus and discuss Liberia, because this is the only way Liberia can move forward. Thank you so much, Amy, for the opportunity.
Yeah,
Look
and
forward
to add on to what Family said, if you're out there, your ANC, your Sedition, your UPIS, whatever, all the other parties, then you want to be a part of this, you want to be a panelist, we're looking for one. Just inbox us in the comment section, and we'll share the link with you to come on. And yeah, you can come make the case for your party while we all, when it's come to Liberia, we all join and do that. And if it comes to your party, you make the case for your party as well. We're here. Don't be. This is an independent, platform. Everybody are welcome. So don't be a stranger. Follow us. We're still a little dragging because this is our first week, and I mean, by the grace of God, hopefully next week we'll get it together and be regular. The time's supposed to be what, 8 o'clock Eastern, and then 12 in Liberia, but we've been pushing it a little bit because
it's around 3 a.m. in Liberia, so
yeah.
most people on that tear dreams. So,
Yes, so sorry for that, and we'll get better. So with that, we say good night, and we'll see you tomorrow, God's willing.
all right. Bye.